Hello! So some of you may be wondering what the hell this video is all about. Well, it is a direct response to a video that has recently gone up on Brett's channel, Brett the Great 08, because he has, for some reason, decided to bring all the drama forward from the build team issues that have been going on behind the scenes, which I usually like to keep out of the public view. But he's brought it all forward and he's said some things, and I think it needs addressing. He's also thrown a lot of shit towards Rich as well, which, well, I'll get into that a little bit as well. That's not ultimately my battle to fight, but I'm also going to say some things on it. But obviously, in this video that he has posted last night, I didn't see it till this morning when I woke up. In this video, he has mentioned me quite a bit and the issue with the build team behind the scenes. Now, also, he conveniently left out all the details. Now, I had very legit reasons for pulling away from the build team. It all started weeks ago. And I'm not going to mention Trey too much because I am actually, to my knowledge, I think that I'm on good terms with Trey because we've kind of talked afterwards. He's still the lead mod in my Discord group. So as far as I'm aware, everything's fine with Trey, but it did all start weeks ago when Trey decided he needed a break, which is absolutely fine. The problem is he didn't initially let me know, and he has since addressed that and said that he should have let me know. It all started when I was just about to record the uptakes for the Titanic tutorial. Now, anybody who's watched that particular bit of the tutorial can see the way that we did it. It was a two-person job, and it was actually me and Trey that came up with the idea of posting the uptakes in layer by layer. So obviously I needed a really good World Edit user that could paste these things in quickly and easily, and I could just build it up as you can see in the video. Initially that was supposed to be me and Trey. Rich had to step in because Trey dropped off. The problem was obviously he didn't say anything, but that's when all this started. This isn't me blaming Trey for what's happened, it was a starting point. Everyone else seemed to just slowly drop off as well. The problem was the boiler rooms got a redesign, and looking back now, I just wish I had stuck with the original design. The problem was, for me personally, it felt overly complicated, and I felt like I was going to struggle doing it in a tutorial format. So we thought, right, what we'll do is we'll use the design from the 2018 Titanic, the boilers, and then obviously we'll redesign the uptakes. They went in quite quickly. The issue was the walkways. They all needed a redesign as well, because obviously the uptakes were going to be different because the boilers were a different design and a different size and all that sort of crap. The problem was everybody dropped off at the same time, pretty much, and these walkways needed to go in. Now, I would have done them myself, but I didn't know how to do it to their standards, because obviously they like everything accurate, especially when it comes to Titanic. So I felt like in a bit of a stuck position where I thought, well, I could just do it. It wouldn't be accurate, but there'd be walkways. So obviously I kept asking them, please can you get these walkways in? And it was just dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. So I thought, right, I'll try and delay and I'll do the engine rooms. So obviously I started doing the engine room. Now the engine room is nearly finished. In fact, I should have been continuing to record part 19 this morning, but I'm having to do this instead. The walkways for the boiler rooms were taking forever. I kept asking for help. When I did ask for help, you might get an hour or two of work out of people, and then they'd drop off again, and the build team would be dead for days. Now obviously, like I've just said, I'm coming towards the end of the engine room, and the walkways weren't there still after all this time. And for the longest time, me and Rich were trying to address this issue in the build team. We were trying to find out what was going on with everybody. It all felt very the best way I can describe it is weird. The build team all of a sudden had this really weird feel to it. You know, like people like talking somewhere else, like there was a different group all of a sudden. Now I don't know whether there's any truth in that. I'm just relaying how we both felt. We felt like there was something going on that we didn't know about because everybody dropped off at the same time. Now obviously it's okay for Brett to sit there all high and mighty when he has all of his support in his team, in his Cervic team. It was a completely different scenario for me. All my help and support had dropped off. But I'm just expected to apparently just continue with that. I don't know how. But yeah, I guess that's what I was expected to do. So ultimately, I did take the decision to leave the build team. And my initial message was as polite as I could make it. In fact, I could probably even show it on screen right now. It was as polite as I could make it. And it wasn't an easy decision to make at all. But the way Brett's worded it in his video makes it just sound like I just decided to up and leave for no reason. I've just left them all behind. And that really got on my nerves that he brought up this issue in his video but didn't explain any of the background to it at all. And that's the main reason why I am making this video, because I don't want people sitting there thinking, after watching that video of Brett's, that me and Rich are like these not so nice people behind the scenes. This really has been a tough decision, and I knew that there were going to be consequences. I knew that people were going to be probably a bit angry with me and stuff like that. But what I didn't expect to happen was to be removed from my own build team. Me, Chris, Bree and Rich were all removed from the build team at the same time. And then shortly followed, me and Rich were removed from Cervic. Now I know that this has come up in his video as well, why it shouldn't have been such a big deal for me and Rich to be removed from Cervic, because we didn't do much. Now I have been in a couple of Brett's videos. I know that I haven't been in a lot, but for the reason why I don't contribute much in that team is because, as I have just stated, he has all the support he needs constantly with his builds. He doesn't need me around. Just now and again I'll just pop into a video. But the way he worded it in his video as well was, I only pop up when there's build drama, I think he said. That is not the case at all. I've been in one of his SS France parts helping build, and then there was another one where he blew one of the ships up. I think that was the SS France as well. So obviously that was a fun video. That was nothing to do with drama. But the point was that Cervic and the build team are two separate things. Now the issue that was going on was obviously in the build team. So I didn't see the need for him to have just removed me and Rich from Cervic as well. Because it felt like a little bit of a slap in the face. Because in the past, I have helped to promote Brett's channel. I mean, alright, I might not contribute much to the builds and stuff like that, but I contribute in other ways. Like, I have actually made full-scale videos to advertise his stuff, like the rigging for the 2018 Titanic. I didn't just do a post or something like that. No, I made a video promoting it, trying to send some traffic his way. So yes, it did feel like a bit of a slap in the face when we got removed, because it was like we're just being removed from everything. Now, we don't matter anymore, because we've been used as a springboard now. We're not needed anymore, so it's see you later. And yes, a week later is when we really reacted to it, because obviously my initial concern was Titanic. I needed to make sure that I got some things in place so that the Titanic tutorial could continue. That was my main concern initially. So obviously I've set things up good to go, which they've also not agreed with. And then I've really thought about what's happened. And that's when obviously I've reacted to it and got angry at the fact that we got removed from Cervic. So obviously that's that in regard to Cervic. In regard to the comment he made about me pulling away from the build team being a bad decision, it's not been a bad decision on my part. I've had to do what I needed to do for my channel. You know, he keeps boasting on about what he's needing to do now for his channel. It's like he's the only one that's allowed to do anything for his channel, but the minute I do it, all these consequences come up. I mean, did I want all this drama for everyone to see? No, this isn't the first time a build team has fallen apart. The first time it happened was during the Queen Mary, and nobody knew about it because I didn't announce it. The only difference was so subtle. You might notice it now that I mention it. The only difference that you could see in those tutorials was the fact that because we'd changed server, because we pulled away from that particular build team, on that particular server, the design Queen Mary was on the opposite side to the tutorial ship. That was the only difference you could see, because I tried to keep all this drama away from the public view. I don't want to have to sit here doing videos like this, especially when it's taking up my time to then do my tutorial, when I've already had all this crap to deal with. You know, I've already been struggling with motivation and everything lately. A few weeks back, I will fully admit, I was on the verge of announcing the cancellation of the Titanic tutorial because I just felt like I couldn't go on with it anymore, because my motivation is at zero. Obviously I do have a few anxiety problems right now, and then obviously all this was going on with the build team. I needed help, I wasn't getting it, and it was just all contributing to it. Obviously I have managed to talk myself round to carrying on with the tutorial, and the tutorial will get finished. It isn't the first time I've had a bit of a wobble like that, but this was definitely the most severe one that I've had, because I was literally inches away from just cancelling the whole thing, because it's been difficult to deal with. And of course did try to explain this to the build team, but they just obviously didn't want to know about it, because they just didn't really acknowledge it. Obviously all this has come up now as a consequence to like me leaving the build team and stuff, so yeah, they've obviously not taken anything on board for my personal reasons for what I've done for leaving the build team. And I'm going to leave that particular bit there. I am going to address what's been said about Rich and his memberships. Now, I can appreciate that, you know, some of Brett's tutorials have been, well, the ships that he's doing interior tutorials for have been made into membership videos. Now, Brett really should have double checked before he did the video that he's done, because he said that none of my ships had been put into membership. Yes, they have. The Nomadic and the Traffic are now membership ships on Rich's channel. Now, in regard to the Titanic, yes, that's a very popular ship, and obviously that's how I found Rich. Brett said that's how he found Rich. Countless other people have found Rich because of Titanic. Now that is still pulling in subscribers, so it would not be a good move for Rich to make the 2018 Titanic just yet part of the membership thing. It'd be counterproductive. It's pulling in subs for him right now. He's not going to do that, but obviously eventually it probably will wind up as a membership thing, because he's already said that. So obviously some of my ships are now included in this membership thing. Am I kicking off about it? No. Am I not bothered about it? I am a little bit bothered about it, because I've done tutorials, you know, for the interiors of those two ships. I'm not unbothered by it, but I certainly am not going to kick off about it like Brett has and seen it as some sort of personal attack. At the end of the day, Rich is running his channel as a business. He's given a lot to people over the last 15 years. So to see comments on that video that Brett made saying that Rich doesn't treat his community very well, that is utter bullshit. He's done nothing but give to the community for 15 years. is one of the leading people for the exteriors of these ships. So I think that is extremely unfair, what's been said about him there. It's just making him out to be this awful person when all he's trying to do, really, is make some money off his channel. He's given a lot to the community. He deserves something back. And actually, as I've actually been recording this video, a comment has come in from Brett towards Rich, because Rich has commented on Brett's video. And he's ended that with something stupid like the lust for money is strong. Well, yeah, I mean, no one is going to do this for free. There's so many hours that go into it, so much effort, blood, sweat and fucking tears that go into this shit. You have no idea. So obviously, yeah, you're going to want something back for it eventually. It's like another job. It takes up that much time. In fact, it's worse than your normal job, because at least, 9 to 5, you clock off at 5 and you're done. This is just a constant thing. You have to keep going with it, whether you want to or not, because YouTube penalises you otherwise. The amount of times I have tried to have a little bit of a mini break from uploading videos and stuff, and my channel has suffered for it. I've noticed the views going down, subscribers aren't coming in anymore, and that's just after a week or two of having some time off from uploading. So it is a constant thing. So yeah, not too much to expect, a little bit of payback every now and again. Guaranteed, Brett will activate memberships and add revenue the minute that he can do it. So he's talking out of his arse there, in my opinion. But yes, I'm pretty much just going to leave it there. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Obviously, there was always going to be a response from me. Rich can respond in his own way. I know that he's commented on that video that Brett put up. If that's all Rich wants to do, that's fine, that's up to him. But I have decided, obviously, I had a lot to say, so I'm going to have to do it in video format. And obviously, I've seen subscribers of mine commenting on the video that he put up, some of which have followed me since the early days of Titanic, and the last thing I want is for people to think that I might be this shitty person behind the scenes. So yeah, I have had to do this response video. I know Brett ended his video by saying, there's probably going to be a response and they're going to mourn about it. Absolutely, you are going to get a response to doing a video like that. So yeah, that's about it, I think. Brett could have just announced the fact that he was doing exterior tutorials as well as interior tutorials now and left it at that. But he decided to do what he's done instead. So hopefully now at this point I can just leave this drama behind and get on with what I want to be getting on with, which is my Titanic tutorial. And yeah, I really hope actually that this has cleared some things up, because there are always two sides to a story, and there's three in this case. There's Brett's, mine and Rich's. And so far you've only heard Brett's. Well, now you've heard mine. Obviously Rich will respond in his own way, or he might not respond because he might just think it's not worth it. So but yeah, that's about it. So hopefully that's cleared things up, and hopefully I'll catch some of you in the next tutorial part. So bye for now.